Assalamualaikum. This is our team members for this movie review assignment, which are Nur Shamira binti Muhammad Yusuf, Khairul Baria binti Salim, Nurul Mahira binti Hasnan, Nur Kamarina binti Muhammad Lazari, and Nur Syahira binti Suhaimi. So, this is our selected movie, which is Toy Story 3. Without further ado, let's watch the trailer of this movie.
Andy's going to college. Can you believe it? What are you going to do with these old toys?
Okay, calm down, guys. Let's just keep this in perspective. Where's she taking us?
I should have seen this coming.
We'll be fine, Jesse.
Oh, I hate all this uncertainty!
New toys!
Buzz Lightyear, at your service.
Welcome to Sunnyside, folks. You'll find being donated was the best thing that ever happened to you.
Oh, may I? Ooh!
Who's Velocistar 237?
Oh, that's just a dinosaur toy down the street. That's nothing. Let me just take care of that. Just a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Have a whole new life here, Woody.
We're Andy's toys!
Hey, what do you guys think of the new recruits? Any keepers?
Oh, please.
That space guy, he could be useful.
Oh, I want to get played with.
Rex?
They just love new toys now, don't they?
Oh, it was cold and dark. Nothing but sand and a couple of Lincoln logs.
I don't think those were Lincoln logs.
In Toy Story 3, Andy is the age of entering college, so he does not need those toys as he could not bring them along and he already a grown-up man. Few days before moving to college, Andy decides to put all toys in the attic, except Woody. Woody will keep Andy accompanied at the college. He stores those toys in a black plastic bag, and unfortunately, Andy's mom thought it was a rubbish and threw it away. Woody saves his friends, but they decide to go to a Sunnyside, a daycare. In Sunnyside, there is a toy named Lotso that keeps other toys under control. At first, he brightly welcomed Andy and friends, but actually he has a bad agenda towards them. On the other hand, Woody accidentally being brought to Bonnie's house, a child at the daycare. After knowing the reality of Sunnyside, Woody hurriedly rescues his friends and succeed. But after that, they face life-threatening situations at the dumpster, like almost get shredded and burned. Luckily, they saved. But Lotso, who followed them, end up being an accessory on a dump truck. They continue their journey to return to Andy's house and stay in attic as planned. But Woody has a greater plan. They ended up being donated to Bonnie, a bright little girl. Last but not least, Andy leaves for college and keep memories with his toys forever.
Hi, I'm Baria binti Salim. I will continue presenting for the next slide, which is about two main stakeholders. So in Toy Story 3, we recognize Woody as a main hero and Lotso as a main villain. So how these both characters become main hero and main villain? I will explain further at the next slide. Woody Pride, also known as Woody, is a main character of this story. Woody is a pull-string cowboy and has been Andy's favorite toy since he was kindergarten. As Woody is the favorite toy, he also become leader of the Andy toys. In Toy Story 3, Andy is about going to college. Woody and other toys were uncertain about their fate when he's on the leave since they are always together since kindergarten. Then, one day, when Andy was prepared to leave home, then Andy's mother asked Andy to tidy up his toys using garbage bag to put them at the attic. But Andy's mother mistake it for trash and leave them on the street just as a garbage truck arrived. Woody wants to save the other toys, but they does not believe Woody. As they believe Andy no longer want them, and the toys donate themselves to Sunnyside Daycare, where the main villain Lotso give false promises. Then Woody returns to the Sunnyside to save his friend, but Lotso and his cronies trap him. Also known as Lost or Hugging Bear, is the main villain for this film. He is large, magenta pink strawberry scented teddy who rules Sunnyside Decade and make the Sunnyside as a prison to other toys. Lotso became cruel since he was betrayed by his old owner named Daisy. Since that tragedy, he became cruel. The story began when Woody and the other toys comes to the Sunnyside. He greets Woody and other toys happily and friendly and explains that Sunnyside is a place where they will be treated lovingly and carefully by the children. But actually Lotso was lied to them and made a false promises. They actually has been placed at another room, which is they will be played roughly by naughty toddlers. After being covered by Andy other toys, they want to leave Sunnyside and going back to Andy place, but they has been trapped in a prison by Lotso and his cronies.
This part, I'm going to talk about the ethical dilemma of the hero and the villain in this movie. As we know, the hero in this movie is Sheriff Woody Bright. The first ethical dilemma that we get is when Woody was in dilemma whether to go back to Andy's house or save his friends in the daycare Sunnyside. This is the scene when Woody finds out from one of Bonnie's toys about Lotso's tragic past and that the daycare is not a safe place for Buzz and the rest of Woody's friends. The second ethical dilemma that we get from the movie is that Woody can either help Lotso by putting himself in danger or he can let Lotso continue on his way to his death. This scene happened when Lotso got stuck in the middle of a conveyor belt that was full of rubbish. Woody uses the moral rights rule and decides to help Lotso even though he may be hurt in the process. The villain in this movie is Lotso. The scene that happened is when the belt conveyor heading to the incinerator machine. Lotso is in a dilemma whether to help Woody and his friends to press the emergency stop button or not. Because in that scene, we might think that Lotso is going to help Woody and friends due to the Woody and Buzz had helped Lotso when it gets stuck in the middle of the rubbish. But once Lotso gets to the emergency button, he decides to not press it and lets Andy's toys head to the incinerator while he is safe. So that's the ethical dilemma that we get from the hero and the villain in the Toy Story 3 movie. Thank you.
Next, for this part, I will explain about the discussion on the action taken by the villain from a consequentialist point of view. What is consequentialism? Consequentialism is the idea that the moral worth of an action is determined solely by its contribution to the overall utility, which is the contribution to the happiness or pleasure a sum among all persons. Therefore, an action is said ethical if that brings about more benefit than harm, while an action that causes more harm than benefit is unethical. The action in this movie is when Lotso tries to manipulate the other toys, which is Big Baby, Ken, and Andy toys, by tricking them by saying that they are going to toss us out like garbage and there is no salvation to them. Lotso's true colors reveal him to be a dark, sadistic, conniving, selfish, rage-driven tyrant and prison warden ruling Sunnyside with an iron fist and imprisoning new toys in the caterpillar room to test their ability to endure the abuse of the reckless and destructive children there. This nature was mostly brought about from his perceived betrayal from Daisy. Due to his painful past, Lotso possesses a negative philosophy about being a toy, believing toys to be nothing special and originally made for future disposal. While in power as a head toy at Sunnyside, he also seemed to develop nihilistic tendencies, as evidenced by his statement that all toys were ultimately going to be tossed out like garbage and there is no salvation for them. This action is considered as unethical as it is resulted a bad consequence to the other toys, since they will bully and let the new toys be placed in the naughty child plays, which is Caterpillar Room. Next, the action that taken by the villain from a consequentialist in this movie is Lotso try to kill Andy toys and let them to the incinerator while he is safe. Despite seemingly showing gratitude toward Woody for saving him from the shredder, Lotso still holds to his belief that children will throw away their toys out of wardroom and disinterest without realizing the physical and emotional pain they cause the toys, as evident when he refused to press the emergency stop button, which, should he press it, would supposedly lead to his redemption by saving Woody and his friend from their fiery death in the incinerator. This action is considered as unethical as it resulted a bad consequence to the Andy toys since Lotso just ignored them by not pressing the emergency stop button and led them to the incinerators. He only thinks about his safety compared to the other. There is form of consequentialism, which is ethical egoism. Ethical egoism is an ethical theory according to which moral decision making should be guided entirely by self-interest. Ethical egoism is often constructed with psychological egoism. The empirical claim that advancing one's self-interest is the underlying motive of all human action. An action that might be detrimental to the welfare of others in this movie is when Lotso was egoistic, as he just ignored Andy toys by not press the stop button and he just ran away without thinking about the other.
Next, I will explain the answer regarding the action taken by the hero from deontology point of view. First, I would like to explain what deontology is. Deontology is an ethical theory that states it is possible to determine the rightness or wrongness of action by examining the action themselves without focusing on the consequences. For example, people with high deontology are the people who will not consider any reason caused by breach of the rule. The scene that I can relate from a deontology point of view is when Woody and Fred in the garbage disposal machine while the machine is moved on. Woody, who acts and treats like a leader by his friend, helps Lotso, who traps in a bunch of rubbish without thinking of his safety consequences. It is an ethical action because Woody does not prioritize himself only but also consider all, even though not having a good relationship with Lotso. Next, golden rule. What is golden rules? Golden rules is a moral principle which denotes that you should treat others the way you want to be treated yourself. According to golden rule, if I was in the villain's shoes, I will make sure I respect people either by action or by words. In this movie, Lotso does not respect their friends. He always ignores his friends' feelings and does not listen to what they want to talk. I feel good towards Lotso friends because they have no right to voice out their opinion and action. Other than that, I will make sure to treat people kindly, especially for those who are already helping me throughout the difficult situation. In this movie, Lotso are not shamed for leaving Woody and friends in this garbage disposal machine without press the off mode button, even though Woody had him from being trapped in a bunch of rubbish. Lessons that I learned from the movie are: first, some things will end one day, but memory stays. Andy is growing up and does not play with his toys anymore, as he has a future to focus on. But his childhood memories, where Andy played with Woody and other toys, will not be forgotten. Same goes in reality. There will be some things that we need to move on to search something more valuable in the future. Secondly, we need to avoid hasty judgment and keep an open mind. First, other toys refused to listen to Woody and dismissed his claim that Andy was putting them in the attic. Second, they made a hasty judgment of Sunnyside in believing that it will be fine based solely on its appearance from the outside. However, Woody is telling the truth, and in fact, from not trusting him, put them in deep pain. Same goes in real life. In order to be a good listener, we must avoid making hasty judgments and listen to other stories before actually judging them. These are the essential life lessons. That will be the end of our slides, and thank you.